All right, I'm Lieutenant Donald Patchin. It's DONALD-PLT-PATCHIN. So good evening. This evening at around 5 o'clock, the RPD Communications Center received a report of a disturbance at a residence located in the 100 block of 4th Street. The caller reported there was a subject that was armed with at least one knife that was threatening people inside the residence, threatening to kill them. Officers responded. When they arrived on scene, they did hear a commotion coming from inside the residence. And almost simultaneously, they received an update from the dispatch center that the subject had now armed himself with a second edged weapon. So at that point, the officers walked up to the front door of the residence and announced their presence. Almost immediately upon announcing their presence, they were confronted by an armed subject. Directly in front of the front door of the residence, they encountered that individual, and unfortunately at that time, 2 officers discharged their weapons, and at that point an officer-involved shooting did occur. Unfortunately, that subject did succumb to his injuries at the scene. At this point, the Contra Costa fatal incident protocol has been invoked. The Contra Costa District Attorney is currently on scene with our investigators, and the incident is in its very early initial stages. So at this point, the investigators are doing what they need to do. We do have a press release out, and as additional information does become available, we will be releasing it through our social media and on our press release website.
So I'm just trying to understand here. Does it appear that he may have had 2 weapons?
So there was a report, at least, that he had 2. We're still so early in the investigation. They're still trying to determine that. I can say that he was armed with at least 1 at the time that the officer-involved shooting did occur. There is a possibility that he was armed with 2.
On the scanner, we heard that was a knife.
Correct. It's some type of edged weapon. I believe it was a knife. Again, at this point, they're still processing the scene.
Is there any reason to believe that he might have had a gun?
There was no indications at this time that I'm aware of that he was armed with anything other than a knife or some type of sharp or edged weapon.
Have those officers been placed on administrative leave while they...
Correct. That would be standard for something like this. So there will be interviews that are conducted. The involved officers will be placed on administrative leave while this investigation is conducted, and then they're cleared to come back to duty.
Did that person live here? What were they doing here?
I don't know if this was his address of residence. I do believe it was a family member of the residence. The exact relationship, I'm unsure of.
We heard a family member yelling that the victim here was a military veteran. Do we know if
we are so early in the investigation, I'm not sure. I have heard people say that at this point. What his background is, I do not know.
Yeah. I know anytime you have something like this, people are going to ask, well, did he, try to take down the officers? I mean, was he physically in like a fight with the officers at that point, or?
Again, we're so early in the investigation. I don't know at this point. What I can say is that from what I understand, immediately upon announcing their presence at the front door of the residence, very rapidly after that, they did encounter the individual, and he was armed again with at least 1 knife or an edged weapon, and as a result of that confrontation, it did result in the officers discharging their weapons.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Can you spell your name?
Sure. It's Donald, D-O-N-A-L-D, Patchin, P-A-T-C-H-I-N.
And you're a lieutenant?
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yep. All right. Everybody got what they needed?
Yep, thank you so much.
All right. No problem. You guys have a good night. And
No,
again,
you're
if you guys need more copies of it, that's on the website.
I didn't know you were there when I stopped back.